Hello and welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the webinar From Incident to Resolution, a guide to ITSM with Jira Service Management. My name is Michael Roberts. I am a vice president at SPK and Associates. I've been in, I counted this up today. I've actually been in the IT industry over 25 years now. Between software and infrastructure is a lot of where I have my experience. I managed a data center along with many different software projects and products over the years. I'm here with Shane Donaher. Shane, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Shane Donaher. I'm one of the senior systems engineers here at SPK. I'm originally from Ireland. I've been with SPK now for 2.5 years. I've been in the States for 6, and I've worked in tech for 10. I've worked with a few different managed service providers and IT companies over the years that all have utilized ITIL or COBIT agile practices in some form. And then moved to SPK into that a bit more.
Awesome. So as we walk through this webinar, feel free to use the question and answer item that's in the usually in the bottom footer, or maybe it's at the top in your Zoom. It'll say Q&A, and we have folks monitoring that, as well as Shane and myself will make sure that we use and answer your questions as we go through. We'll also have a time at the end for questions and answers as well. So before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about some experience that I have in this realm that I think would be very valuable. A few years back, I was working with a technology company where IT incidents seemed to pile up endlessly. Literally hundreds of tickets a day were being created. And there was a wide range of severities of these types of tickets, from, oh my goodness, I'm down, to, hey, it'd be nice if we had this feature kind of thing. And it was challenging to keep track of those types of requests and ensure that they were resolved in a timely fashion. And I wish I had something like Jira Service Management back in those days, because now I see all the features that can be added, the categorization, the automation, the workflows, and that would have really made my life a lot easier. And it probably would have transformed the way that my team was handling those incidents, handling the reporting, root cause analysis, managing infrastructure through data, all around. So my hope and Shane's hope is by the end of this webinar that you'll actually see why Jira Service Management is a really indispensable tool for people in ITSM, in the ITSM game. And we want to start off by giving you a little context to phrase for maybe people that aren't in the ops realm. This is a statistic from PagerDuty's State of Digital Operations report, which they do every year. And the 30 minutes that's mentioned here is a very hectic, very stressful, and sometimes a very stressful time, and sometimes things get missed because of that stress. And so today, the goal for this conversation is to hopefully lay the foundation so that can make those types of timeframes a little bit less stressful and allow you to have all the data points that you need to be able to do incident management and analysis on root cause and making sure that your systems are optimal for the next time and the next situation. Just a quick note about this webinar. Shane and I work for SPK and Associates. We're a leading certified woman-owned engineering and IT services company that serves product, IT, and software development teams in many different industries. We've been around 20 years, and we've helped our customers harness technology to optimize engineering and attain their business goals. And we have our headquarters in Scotts Valley, California, which is where this picture is. But we also have consultants placed at different locations all around North America, and we serve many clients in many different applications. As an Atlassian Gold Solution Partner, we're aligned to Atlassian's ITSM approach to implement ITIL and ITSM best practices and enhance and promote the beneficial nature of the tools and solutions that Atlassian is providing. So here's what we're going to do today. We'll talk a little bit about Atlassian's approach to ITSM and kind of what that looks like. We'll talk about the core components of ITSM inside of Jira Service Management. We'll talk maybe some best practices on incident management, some of the features that you can use. And then we'll definitely want to dive into the automation component, which I think is a really valuable feature of Jira Service Management. And we'll leave some time for questions and answers at the end. So first, let's dive into a little bit. If you're not familiar with Atlassian's approach to ITSM, let's talk about that a little bit. On the screen is a link to a white paper that talks about Atlassian's approach to ITSM. And the term information technology service management, I'm going to use the acronym pretty much the rest of the day, but it's a set of activities that are performed by an organization where the goal of ITSM is to deliver IT as a service. And this goes beyond traditional IT support. Instead, ITSM is designed to be inclusive of services, infrastructure, and hopefully it aligns to the broader business objectives to support the overall mission. And Atlassian's mission is to help unleash the potential of every team. We've heard this over and over. Atlassian really talks about the team, that small team. And great teamwork requires more than just tools and products used by the team. It also involves the culture and the practices that teams follow to get that work done. That's why Atlassian's approach to ITSM begins with the team at the center and combines strong culture, proven practices, and collaborative tools to help IT teams achieve their full potential. And this white paper is actually a really good one. The core 3 areas that we're going to talk about through the course of this webinar and that are listed in that white paper are service delivery, service operations, and service support. So why would businesses want to implement an ITSM approach to their IT departments? Well, there's several benefits, and let's talk about the business benefits first. First, companies implementing ITSM are known to be more agile to change, and that change is needed by the business to compete in the marketplace. Second, it's proven that ITSM reduces IT costs as a cost center and becomes more efficient. And because there are fewer IT problems, response rates are improved, which we all love that when we don't have fires all day long. And then also ITSM also helps with the compliance needs and allows to have data points that you can show auditors. From the IT perspective, and sometimes you'll need to convince the IT teams why ITSM is an important process and system to implement. Basically, the benefits include improved productivity, better process scaling, and faster incident detection, which is really why we're all here today. We want to be able to detect those incidents before they become bigger problems and make sure we reduce the frequency of those incidents. So this is a high level of what Atlassian's approach is with those 3 areas that I mentioned. Shane, you want to jump into this?
Yeah, so one of the biggest reasons why SBK has chosen Atlassian as our ITSM product is that JSM is lightweight, it's quick to configure, and it's very easy to deploy. Like straight out the box, it comes with ITIL 4 alignment, and it's very focused on a team's approach. Atlassian's approach to the service management puts development, IT operations, and business teams like HR, marketing, and others in a more unified platform for better collaboration, and any team that can respond to business changes and deliver great customer and employee experiences fast. Jira Service Management is at the very heart of service management from Atlassian. For many enterprise organizations, it's become the platform that unifies and opens up work across the organizations. Customers who use Jira Service Management have been able to prove their business value from day one. So they gain an average 246% return on interest by switching from legacy ITSM tools through pure licensing costs, saving on costly implementation fees instead of paying for the features they don't use. JSM clients see a better time to value with ease of use and teams that are already familiar with Jira. You can cut down average implementation time to 2 months on average. And then finally, users and agents see productivity gains through flexible and intuitive workflows that integrates across dev, support, and operations teams.
So Shane, let's look at some of the other core components of ITSM as it pertains to Jira Service Management.
Yeah, so with Jira Service Management, this starts with a centralized and intuitive self-service portal. Your employees or customers can get help quickly with a single global service catalog that can be customized to match your company's look and feel. You can then use Jira Service Management's built-in knowledge base capabilities to surface relevant articles and deflect requests without having to engage with any agent. And then you can also automate ticketing, routing, approvals, escalations for even more efficiency. And the portal in general can be a total game changer.
Yeah, and just to add on that portal too, external customer facing or even internal customers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like Atlassian's conversational ticketing feature enables support agents to meet employees where they are, capturing requests and additional context in the communication tool of their choice, be it Slack or Teams, and then transferring this information to the ticket within Jira Service Management without having to leave the tool you are working in. So you can stay in Slack, you can stay in Teams, and you can open your tickets and communicate with the agents there.
Shane, this is one of those things that I was saying earlier would have changed my life, 15 years ago, to be able to use a tool like this, where the big complaint was, oh, I have to leave the tool that I'm having a conversation in to go find the place that I need to submit a ticket. Now you can literally just do it from the place that you are, which is pretty neat.
It's so easy. We use it all the time. You don't have to copy and paste the conversation in Slack or Teams and go over to Jira and open up a ticket. You just pop the tool, you set a command, and away it goes.
Right. And it should be easy for any team, whether it's IT or HR or legal, to spin up their own service desk and streamline their work, because inevitably people are going to ask them for things. So with Jira Service Management, teams can easily configure and manage their own request forms, queues, service level agreements with kind of the out-of-the-box workflows. And JSM also has a no-code automation rule. So it's all point and click, drag and drop. And with Jira as a platform, JSM makes it easy to link requests into the software team's backlog in Jira software, so that they can gain additional context into assets and configuration items with Insights Asset Management, which we will discuss later. It's one of Shane's favorite tools that Atlassian provides.
Okay, so Atlassian believes teams work better when knowledge is open and shared across the organization. Jira Service Management agents can now use this built-in knowledge base functionality to do many things, such as author and share knowledge articles, create a source of truth for project plans, runbooks, troubleshooting guides, and post-incident reports. They can deflect simple requests and questions so that you can focus on more critical initiatives. This out-of-the-box knowledge base functionality provides real-time collaborative editing, providing feedback through inline comments and tagging fellow agents for review and approvals. And then finally, with JSM, you can build a culture of continuous learning. So with JSM, you can get out-of-the-box reports for key service metrics. Customer satisfaction, commonly known as CSAT, can be collected with a simple built-in tool for collecting customer satisfaction feedback. You can then monitor, optimize, and share your team's work with custom dashboards by using built-in reporting, or by looking at Atlassian Marketplace apps, which include some great ones from Tempo Software and EasyBI.
So now we want to jump into kind of the change management component of Jira Service Management. So the kind of the first thing here is, practicing change management is really important when you're coordinating lots of teams and you're trying to address regulatory requirements and making sure that the right people know what's going on. But the collaboration can be difficult across multiple teams with different priorities. You're trying to ultimately ship something fast, but the reality is you're dealing with reliability issues. And so here are some of the challenges that Atlassian has seen as it pertains to change management. The main one being change management is slow, and there's heavyweight approval processes that slow down the work, especially in a dynamic environment where they're trying to ship value to the customer, and that's really critical for their success. There's sometimes friction between the development and operations organizations, which nobody's ever seen that before. And you're really trying to, change is really at the heart of what the software teams are trying to do. They're trying to bring the most value and change and develop something and ship it fast and often, while ops is looking for reliability and don't touch anything. And the first question is, well, what changed and who did what? So those two things are really at the high end of why change management can be very disruptive. And then the third really is, risk of not innovating fast enough. If organizations worry too much about the incidents that they're causing or that are being caused, it kind of stifles innovation. And so this requires a shift of mindset from thinking about the right balance between risk and innovation.
So yeah, how can you improve the flow of changes? Atlassian believes that change management needs to evolve to be more efficient and adaptable to meet modern needs. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, pre-approvals and automation can provide more speed and flexibility without compromising on risk. Here's where the risk assessment engine in Jira Service Management comes in. So it acts as a sorting station, assessing change requests as they flow from dev into IT operations. You can configure rules so low-risk changes are auto-approved and deployed, while high-risk changes are immediately routed to the right teams for review or approval. But what about those medium-risk changes? Those changes are slightly more risky, but don't require a full manual review. With Jira Service Management, your IT ops team can set up more advanced rules and workflows to let a change soak first to minimize risk. What's soaking? Simply put, they get to conditionally approve a change and push it to a lower tier environment. If there aren't any incidents in a set period of time, the change automatically gets pushed to production. It's like a band playing an unreleased song at a private show before they take to the big stage.
And this is another feature I would have loved to have had 15 years ago. Oh, you mean I don't have to review every single thing? Like that would reclaim hours upon hours of my day.
That's right. So with a self-service portal, Jira Service Management offers a convenient way to submit change requests. The request form allows you to configure questions and data needed to assess the risk of a change and automatically calculate the risk level and set appropriate risk value. Confluence then brings the IT team together to plan change collaboratively. Multiple teams can work together to create change documents using templates, provide peer review and feedback, and iterate in real time until the change is implemented. Slide. So when it comes to approving changes, streamline change management by automating standard changes. The new risk assessment engine can quickly score risks and automatically approve and deploy low-risk changes. For changes that require additional approval, Jira Service Management brings together all the context and information a change manager needs to approve the change, along with information about the change. Affected services from Insight CMDB, risk score from the risk engine, and change approvers. If your team practices DevOps, integrations with popular CI/CD tools allow developers to track the progress of the request without leaving the CI/CD tool. Once the change is approved, Jira Service Management automatically ungates the deployment and pushes the change into production.
Another thing that would have been nice to have 15 years ago. So I know Shane is a huge fan of the next section here of the asset and service configuration side of things. This is a really, really big deal, this whole section that we're going to go through here, Shane.
So yeah, Atlassian have pretty much changed the game with this. Atlassian has invested in capabilities that offer a decentralized, service-aligned, team-centric approach to configuration management by basically combining relevant software dev insights with relevant infrastructure-related information. Looking forward, Atlassian is looking to augment the rich data source with an increasing dynamic set of information that's driven from a plethora of DevOps tools, information like repos, deployments, pull requests, commits, epics, stories. These can all provide modern teams with a much more dynamic, real-time understanding of every service. For key use cases like change management, it means change managers have a much richer context to understand the impact of proposed changes of services. So in the era of cloud computing and anything as a service, IT teams are now managing a very different type of IT environment. While they may rely on a CMDB, many IT organizations struggle to find value from their CMDB implementations and have even experienced failed CMDB projects. According to Gartner, 80% of CMDB initiatives fail. The reason stems from starting a CMDB deployment with too wide of a scope. As a result of this, teams attempt to collect large amounts of information, be it valuable or not, upfront, and can struggle to maintain and keep it current. The deployment ultimately shows little value for the organization and instead results in lengthy projects and wasted resources. So with Jira Service Management, you can build your CMDB within the Jira environment itself and streamline workflows by having everything integrated into one tool. Insights flexibility allows you to define the data structure your teams need, such as CIs, attributions, relationships, and dependencies. With ease, teams have relevant services and applications they need to inform their IT support practices. And you can link these CIs to Jira issues to provide additional context for agents to solve issues faster. The better the context, the faster agents can work.
And I'll just anecdotally, I'll say Shane has actually been working with a client in this kind of vein. They started implementing and they started small. And as more networks needed to be added, they just added the discovery tool to add more assets to their system. So the whole implementation there is start small and build.
Yep. So in Jira Service Management, services allow you to map, organize, and manage these services. By setting up services and using them in your day-to-day processes, you can measure their success, track their changes, and reduce the risk of cascading problems, respond to incidents, increase the quality and the speed of your operations, and keep records. Services behave like connectors in Jira Service Management. Services apply to your entire Jira site and can be used across all your service projects. What does each service have? Each service can basically have a tier which defines how critical the service is for your business operation. You learn more about service tiers just through this method. Change approvers who must approve any changes to the service before they're made, and incident responders who are notified if anything goes wrong with the service. And then relationships with other services that may be affected when changes are made.
And having a picture like this when you're trying to troubleshoot something is extremely important. Sorry, my slides are taking forever to advance here.
No worries.
I promise. There we go.
Okay, so by using Insight with Jira Service Management, you can create a federated CMDB to support your organization's configuration and asset management needs. You empower data teams to manage their IT infrastructure while enabling business leaders to report on customers, inventories, finances, change management, and more. For IT teams, tracking assets from servers to mobile devices synced with CIs is an absolute breeze.
Yeah, and Shane, can I ask you one quick question here? Because I think this is a really good point. So you don't have to manage assets by a spreadsheet anymore.
No. So if you currently have assets stored in a spreadsheet, you can upload the spreadsheet to this tool and it'll import everything for you.
And it'll dynamically find additional assets along with updating existing assets with new information that it's found, right?
Yeah, the cool thing about the tool is there may be assets on your network that you don't really know about, that have been forgotten about, they're out somewhere, but they're connected to your network. By putting the discovery tool on a server somewhere on your network, it can go out and it'll discover anything that has an IP address hanging off your network. So you pull in all these things and get all the information that's collected with it.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about incident management and some of the best practices that we've seen in the process of utilizing Jira Service Management. And I will say that there's multiple components to this. An incident for every company is a little bit different. Sometimes that means a slowdown in service. Sometimes that means completely offline, and everywhere in between. So Shane, how are you prepared? How prepared are you to respond to a major incident? Really, is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's the big question. Atlassian believes that establishing a strong incident management process is critical to reducing the impact of the incident and restoring services quickly. Forrester has found that 70% of the incident response time is spent within the investigation and diagnosis phases. Jira Service Management offers a collaborative and proactive approach for teams to plan, respond, and learn from every incident. Atlassian Solutions brings all the context and data you need to resolve an incident right in your ITSM tool. Next slide.
Yeah, it's coming. Sorry. There we go.
So first, Jira Service Management makes it easy for internal customers or employees to report an incident in the Service Desk portal. Some incidents may also come in the form from monitoring systems or signals from over 200 integrations, such as Datadog, Sumo Logic, and Nagios.
I promise it's coming. I promise. There we go.
So Jira Service Management's major incident capabilities are powered by OpsGenie, which provides a dedicated place for development and operation teams to swarm on a major incident. Flexible on-call schedules, routing rules, and escalation policies ensure you never miss a critical alert or major incident, and avoid burnout by sharing responsibility and bringing together the right team members at the right times. Notifications are triggered across multiple channels such as SMS, chat, mobile push notifications, voice calls, or even email. If you're not an OpsGenie fan, you can use other alerting tools like PagerDuty, SolarWinds, Dynatrace, or others that integrate right into JSM as well. As you're working to resolve an incident, it's important to maintain trust with stakeholders. Atlassian's native status page integration ensures that customers who need to know are notified when there's an incident in real time. Customers can also subscribe to this page to be updated in whatever way they prefer. And the Jira Service Management portal is always updated with the status page status. And this helps you deflect incoming incidents related to the current incident, thus keeping your agents focused on fixing the incident versus responding to customers. So during incident investigation, team collaboration is important. The command center in JSM makes it easy to jump on a video call with teammates and create a dedicated Slack channel to get a real-time view into the incident. You can keep track of everything happening around the incident with an auditable event timeline to review any recent deployments or incidents on the service that may have caused the incident. Atlassian's native Bitbucket integration shows individual commits, who deployed it, and allows you to roll back the change.
And I think this timeline thing is really, really important, because I don't know how many hours I've spent over the years after an incident, and the last thing you want to do is figure out a timeline at 3 a.m. Putting the timeline together of here's how the incident transpired over the course of minutes or hours or whatever.
Yeah, it's incredibly helpful. Finally, make sure your team records and learns from the incident. You can create a post-mortem report and export it directly to a Confluence page through a standardized template that your entire team can update and reference. This is a great way to build accountability and transparency across your entire organization.
Now I want to fast forward into this automation side of things. And I think this is really important too. And a wise man once said, the great part about Jira is that you can do anything with it, but the bad part about Jira is that you can do anything with it. To me, this is one of the powerful pieces of Jira and Jira Service Management is the automation side of things. Shane, can you give me a little bit of example of what those automations can do and what they look like?
Yeah, so Jira Service Management queues and automation allows the IT organization to manage requests efficiently and prioritize what's most important. Queues let IT and engineering teams represent the flow of requests to best match their needs. Based on information submitted in the business request, automation can be used to calculate business risk and flag strategic requests that require further review. Managing IT project work intake using Jira Service Management helps business units and IT teams to balance the current load of projects with future capacity.
And another cool thing about this, from an automation perspective, Shane, I know you have some specific examples that you've implemented in probably the last few months.
Mhm.
Intake is probably one area for automation, and then routing it to the right group. What other automations do you see that have been extremely valuable in this ITSM world?
So a good example is regarding like SLAs. So with an automation, you can have your email, your customer email, or from your customer portal. The automation can be set up then to script an email that you've already done, and within like 5 minutes, 10 minutes after the new ticket is received, it'll then send an email out and acknowledge the receipt of the email. So basically, it's a little cheat code to your SLA that you're still meeting them. You've gotten a response out to the customer within 5, maybe 30 minutes, and they're happy because they feel like that they've gotten a response right away.
Yeah.
There's a few other ones that we've integrated. I've yet to see a customer who uses automation the same way. Everybody uses it completely different.
Right. Awesome. Thanks for that, Shane. So we're gonna jump into our wrap-up segment and hopefully get some Q&As, questions and answers going here. I want to give everybody that's watching here a little bit of an example of the things that SPK does. I like to say we have kind of 4 pillars, and as I mentioned, Shane and I both work for SPK and Associates, and our services are broken down into these 4 pillars. They're product lifecycle management, software lifecycle management, or you can call it DevOps. And then cloud for engineering, which is basically can be also infrastructure for your product. Sometimes we use the cloud for engineering, but maybe there's physical components that aren't in the cloud. And then the last piece, which is underpinning really all of it, is data engineering and analytics. And that's where we've flourished for the last 20 years, is doing these types of things. To drill down just a little bit further, the 4 pillars are basically in the middle, and as an explanation of that previous graphic, this kind of just drills down a little bit further. And our tagline is we help accelerate product development. So all these things are really focused around getting the product to market, and getting it producing value for your organization. So we will pause. I have not noticed any questions in the Q&A section, but if you guys have any questions, you want to know anything that either Shane or I could answer, please do so now. We do have one. Are there any limits on the number of automations? So let me answer that real quick. Atlassian does not presently have any, but they are looking at implementing some here very soon for different plans. So there may be some that have a lower number of allowed automations or automation actions. I think that's very common with SaaS tools, is they usually have like a tiered schedule. So I would expect something like that to come out relatively soon.
Yeah. And just to touch on that, with automations, you can do unlimited automations. So you can do them on a global level that they affect the entire organization, or then you can drill down into a project level and you can do them based on projects. So each project can have its own individual automations. And then Confluence as well has its own automations. So you can set them up there also.
Any other questions? I don't see any other ones coming through, so we're gonna move through. If you have any questions, oh, we do have one. Oh, that was a thank you. Okay, thank you, Victoria. Appreciate it. In the event that you do have more questions and want to continue the conversation, you can always do so in a few different ways. It's easy to send an email to info@spkaa.com, or you can reach us through all our social media channels as well. And we have experts like Shane that can help provide architectural guidance for how to set up JSM or how to map it to your business and ITSM processes and desired outcomes. We will be sending this recording out here in just a few days, probably by next Friday. Let me look at this one. We don't have any more. Okay, no more questions. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We appreciate it. And if you do have questions, info@spkaa.com. We'll answer them and do our best to help you. Thanks for joining, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, guys.